Welcome back to Lotus on Track. We're here at Silverstone for round 2 of the 2011 Lotus Cup UK, and the car that's second place on the road, the Steve Williams and Pete Story car, has been given a 2-lap penalty for a pit stop infringement. So this is the actual battle for second place with Simon Deacon and Marcus Jewell. This is the tussle, meanwhile, for production class lead, and it's Ken Savage who has just got the advantage on Steve Quick. The pair of them have been pretty much conjoined all weekend as Quick does what he can do, or tries to do what he can do, to reel in Ken Savage. Well, there is the erroneous second place car. Here is the battle for second place, and it's Simon Deacon who has just got the advantage over Marcus Jewell at the moment as they turn into Copse Corner, although Jewell is really pressurising him and has pulled a lovely line through Copse Corner as well, actually. So he is possibly going to close into the tail of Simon Deacon as they arrive into Maggots. They're going to lap the Frisian liveried machine of Paul Baker. That's the 63 car. And so that will be a slightly scary moment for them as they encounter the production class car going through Beckett's, which is a very high speed sequence of corners. In fact, I think they're going to claw their way past Paul Baker through Chapel Curve. So Paul moving aside, no problems for them. Back to the fight for production class honours. It's still Ken Savage, although Steve Quick is appreciably closer. In the back of your shot, you could see the silver car of Emma Selway coming into play. Yes, there is Emma. So Emma Selway, third in production class, and homing in on the two drivers who are so busy fighting for production class honours that they're actually slowing themselves down and bringing Emma very much back into contention as Steve Quick takes his turn to challenge Ken Savage as they run along Wellington Straight into Brooklands and through into the production class goes Steve Quick. So Steve Quick, how long will he hold on from Ken Savage, who gets very sideways and goes across the grass, finds actually quite a bit more grip than I thought there would be, and he rejoins in second position, although his opportunity to challenge Steve Quick, I fear, is rather gone because Ken Savage is now going to be under real pressure from Emma Selway, and Selway, carrying more speed through Woodcote, should be able to make her way past Ken Savage fairly easily as they run past the start and finish straight and into Copse Corner. That's exactly what she does, underbraking into Copse, and Emma Selway moves into second in the production class as she now sets about closing in on Steve Quick. As here is the fight still for second and third place. It's Simon Deacon just from Marcus Jewell, but the pair of them have been running so closely together since the pit stops. It's been some absolutely fantastic action as out of Woodcote for the final time comes our race leader and about to be race winner Mark Fullerlove. It's Fullerlove who takes the win in round 2 of the 2011 Lotus Cup UK. A dominant victory. He really has shown his class here at Silverstone this weekend. So Fullerlove takes the win. But what about the other positions? Well, a lap down, it's Emma Selway who's taken production class honours just from Steve Quick, and then it's the 11 car of Chris Dunster and Phil Bennett which has come home in third, just knocking Ken Savage off the podium at the very last. A great fight for production class honours. Those four cars come across the line almost together, and Steve Quick, well, I wonder who's running on fumes because he pulls immediately to the side of the circuit at the finish. So it is Mark Fullerlove who took the win from Simon Deacon, who just held off Marcus Jewell. Glenn Sheldon and Jamie Stanley home in fourth, with Paul McNeely and BJ Chong in fifth position. What does that do for the class positions? Well, the Lotus 211 class is the top three from the race, so Mark Fullerlove from Simon Deacon and Marcus Jewell. The Exige Cup, Glenn Sheldon and Jamie Stanley taking the honours from Jonathan Mobbs. The Lotus Open class, very closely contested. Paul McNeely and BJ Chong win it from Vital Chahun, a great drive to sixth, and Sam Baldwin third, with Emma Selway winning production from Steve Quick, and then Chris Dunster and Phil Bennett rounding out the podium.
Hi Mark, pole position. That looked easy, was it?
Well, it's never easy, but the car was very good today. We found a really good setup, so yeah, it was relatively easy. The car was fantastic.
Simon, you said that I'd be seeing you again up here. Second place, are you happy with that?
Very happy with that. I had a problem with my gearbox, lost second gear. It was a great race, had a brilliant time with Marcus, so I really enjoyed it.
You two were head and head most of the time, you were always together. Did you feel like you were following him?
I did for most of the race. Unfortunately, yeah, it's not a normal position for me to be following Simon, so I've got to try and reverse this, but he drove superbly actually, to be honest. I thought he was going to start making mistakes, they didn't come. You know, he had a missing gear, my car was down on power, so I think it's evens, and you know, on the better man won on the day, but we'll see what happens next time out.
It's been a great weekend of racing at Silverstone, but that's not all from this edition of Lotus on Track. We've got more racing from Dijon to come, but first it's a behind the scenes look at the trip down to France from our grid girls.
We're here for the second race of Dijon with Rasse in pole still. Will Gregory manage to beat his brother to the line? Let's find out.
Well, it's a standing start for the second race of the Lotus Cup Europe. It's Rasse Pochevin in pole position with Jean Rasse alongside them on front row of the grid. Christophe Legendre and Philippe Fertre on row 2 with Olivier Cunat and Gregory Rasse on the third row. So the car's ready for the off. The red lights flash on now. A little bit of creeping from our pole position. Away we go. And it's a good start from Rasse Pochevin from pole position, but equally well away is Jean Rasse. So the pair of them pretty much side by side, heading down towards the Double-Droit de Villeroy for the first time. But it is Rasse Pochevin who's got the advantage from Jean Rasse, and then Christophe Legendre has moved into third position just around the outside of Philippe Fertre. So it's as they lined up on the grid, except to say that Gregory Rasse has elevated himself up into fifth position with Tom Chatouet in sixth as the field all squeeze their way through the S des Sablières before plunging downhill and then accelerating on towards Parabolique. Fascinating right-hand hairpin because the road rises so steeply from mid-corner on. So the race leader, Rasse Pochevin, arrives, he turns in and then just has to get on the throttle to carry that car up over the crest. You can see just how high the road rises suddenly before they come to the Double Gauche de la Bretelle. They arrive there now, and it's Christophe Legendre in third, who is really pressurising Jean Rasse in second position. That's Philippe Loup running a little bit wide in his 211. Has plenty of tussles throughout the order, which is what we always enjoy in the Lotus Cup Europe. There is plenty of action that's going to unfold in the second round of the 2011 Lotus Cup Europe. We're in the closing stages, and it's Rasse Pochevin who's leading from that man, 77 Philippe Loup, who is stuck in traffic. It's going to go all the way to the line because we're into the final few corners, and Pochevin has got track position, but he's still caught amongst some of the traffic. It's the Evora of Thierry Verheist who is leading them through. As up over the crest goes Rasse Pochevin. He's trying to carve through those cars. I think he's got enough advantage. The flag goes out. He claims the win from Philippe Loup, so he just holds on. He really used the traffic to advantage at the end of the race, with Jean Rasse claiming third position. So it is Rasse Pochevin with the win from Philippe Loup, and Jean Rasse. Christophe Legendre shuffled down to fourth, and Steve Williams rounding out the top five from Thierry Humbert in sixth position, and Gregory Rasse leading the Evoras in seventh. In terms of the 211 class, it's Rasse Pochevin from Philippe Loup and Christophe Legendre. The Evoras class, Gregory Rasse from Thierry Verheist. Great weekend from Rasse into the Exige Cup. Well, it's John Rasse from Gregor Zetsche and Jean-Baptiste Meusnier. The open class was claimed by Xavier Georges from David Fenn and Paul Patterson. And finally, production class honours went to Nigel Ayres from Jose Vanzlat, with Jan Christie completing the podium. Well, en route to the podium, Rasse Pochevin has managed to turn his 211 into a people carrier. Pochevin, his first ever race in Lotus Cup Europe, and he comes away from Dijon with the double victory. And he looks absolutely delighted as the champagne flows on the podium. Three absolutely delighted drivers, and a well-deserved drink, I think, as back to the paddock, all of our class winners getting their trophies, and lots of high jinks as ever in the Lotus Cup Europe on the podium. All the drivers thoroughly enjoying their weekend's action in the beautiful French sunshine.
Thanks everybody. It was a very nice weekend.
That's it for today's programme. We'll be back with more races from Manicourt and Alton Park. I'll see you then.